music of Billie Holiday has been with you for quite some time. What is it about her that continues to draw you in?
Yeah, it's funny. This is the 100th anniversary for Frank Sinatra. So you kind of have that's it, right? I think for me though, the thing about Billie is that, and it's kind of an interesting connection or parallel between the two of them. I think for Billie, singing was about sound and making her voice into an instrument and doing everything possible with the instrument of her voice, which was why for me it wasn't a complicated thing to take out the text of these songs. I feel like she tells the stories of these songs not necessarily through the text, but through everything that she's doing with sound in her voice. And Jed did a beautiful job of trying to capture some of that in this.
That's Jed Disler. It's interesting that you bring up Sinatra. Sinatra and Holiday both sing behind the beat, and that may be something there as far as maybe not their success, but the similarity, the way they always seem to be just behind, a little bit of rubato all the time. When you played these Disler arrangements of Billie Holiday songs, what new discoveries did you make?
I think more than discoveries, it was things that surfaced. When I talk about realizing or recognizing all of your influences, I know that one of the things that I learned from her were some secrets about phrasing, some secrets about really taking risks with your phrasing and your timing. When I think about phrasing, I think about Arthur Rubinstein and Billie Holiday. So it was just kind of tapping that direct connection and recognizing or letting all of that come maybe more directly through. So, rubato. That's such a complicated word for pianists.
Why don't we talk about it for those of us who aren't pianists, and maybe you could explain rubato.
Rubato means, that you can mess around with the tempo. It means stolen, so you are stealing time from this note and giving it to that note, and it's a subtle thing because underneath it all is a pulse.
You got to pay it back.
Yes,
you got to pay that stolen time.
Yeah. And for pianists, because we play with two hands, there's always a question of, where is that beat in regards to the melody? And as you're saying, Billie figured that out. I think it's giving that anticipation. That's something very powerful, but you have to do it so well. You have to do it really, really well.
Mr. Disler would always put a little Holiday touch on the end of each transcription.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely, because she always had a fantastic way of paraphrasing the written melody. You hear it at the end of Ain't Nobody's Business, but I thought that would, in a way, be kind of a whimsical unifying factor for the arrangements.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And since Mr. Disler brought up Impressionism, we had some Debussy tonight, and talk about how Debussy pairs with Holiday.
Well, here's the thing. Maybe it's a broader answer than you're looking for, but I think the greatest gift of doing this project was that it opened my mind to letting things be what they want to be and letting them have the connections that they want to have. And I will say, I really want to just take a moment and go back to Mr. Golson here, who really was the first person to open my mind to this possibility of, I don't like to say crossing genres, that's a cliche, but opening whatever doors there are between them, and believing that you have something to say maybe in a language that's not your own. When Benny and I first met, he had written a piece for piano. It's a classical piece, and he gave me the tremendous honor of being the first person to play it and record it. And it just sort of made me think, well, there's another world out there, and I get to work with people like this and learn what they have to give me and teach me, and that was the beginning of a path. So Debussy, listen to Debussy and see what is there in Debussy that reminds you of other things. I think Another person who did that was Glenn Gould with his Bach, just opening the mind, not being so careful as classical musicians to be so tied to the rules that we've learned, to respect those rules, and then to look outwards and just let your voice be.
As a classical pianist, Laura, when you come into jazz, what else are you sort of hyper aware of, or what else are things that maybe you took for granted in classical that you now have to reconsider in the jazz element?
I want to learn how to improvise. There's that, but I think that this has been a great platform for courage and curiosity more than anything. So there's this thing when you make a record, you go in the studio and you make this record, and then you put it on the shelf, and then you've got generally like a year to panic about it and be excited about it and be really emotional. And I've been through this many times before, but this year was really something because I did this thing which was scary to me because, frankly, the world of jazz and the history of it and the greatness of it is very intimidating, and something that I approach with so much respect. So Jed and I did what we did, and then the record, went out of my hands, and I had so much time to wake up in the middle of the night and think how everybody was going to hate it, and what was I thinking, and what was I doing, and it has been the most beautiful experience of my life as a musician to put this record out and to see how it's welcomed both by classical listeners and the jazz community, and to see what warmth there is and what appreciation there is for taking that step to acknowledge each other and honor each other and share. Did that answer your question? I don't think
very much. Very much. Unless you have any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I would like to have a drink.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.